Okay, this is for practice set A, paper 2, question 6. So the question speaks of two photocopying machines, and for print job A, for a print job, photocopier A and B printed a total of 4,420 books over a few days, right? And we also know the rate of photocopier A, which will print more books than photocopier B, and A will print 2,660 books more than B. So we know that A prints faster than B. Okay, that's an observation that we want to be able to take note. So for part A, where you only need a 1 mark for this part, you may want to draw a quick model to visualize. So you notice that this is A, and A printed more than B, right? And it printed 2,660 more. So you will have an extra bar for part A, and that's 2,660. Total, the two photocopiers printed 4,420 books. So we want to find out what is printer photocopier B, and this was the question mark in part A. So we will take 4,420 minus 2,660, and you divide it by 2, and you will get the answer, which is 1. Let me key that in, 4,420 minus 2,660, and then you divide it by 2, and you will get 880 books, books for photocopier B. 880 books. Okay, so A is easy, but for part B, what do you do then? The shop reported that for both photocopiers, change color, for both photocopiers, they were in use on the first day. However, photocopier B broke down after a few days. Okay, in the end, the number of days that photocopier A used was 3 times as many days as photocopier B. So in this case, the concept speaks of value versus quantity. And in this case, quantity speaks of number of days. Okay, value speaks of the number of copies. So this is the value, or number of copies. Okay, in the end, yes, photocopier can print 75 more copies. So when we have value versus quantity, what we want to do, the pro tip, is to keep one of it, to ignore one of it that is different, right? Because on one hand, quantity is different. A is 3 units, B is 1 unit, right? A is 3 units, B is 1 unit. On the other hand, for value, A is also 75 more than B every day, right? So we want to see if, let's just, assume that the rate of the two photocopiers start off taking rate of A, which is equals to rate of B. So by right, A having 3 units would mean that the number of days that we have, right? This is in terms of the number of quantity. This is quantity. Since A is 3 units, B is 1 unit, it would mean that for value, in terms of the number of copies, A should also be 3 units. Okay? Simplicity's sake, I shall just copy this entire thing here. Okay? By right. Okay? But then for value, what is the value for B? And we can see that the value for B is here. Exactly 880. Okay, so to be a bit clearer, it's not always 1U because the numbers are different. So I'll use that as 1P instead. And this is in terms of value. P. And also to be clearer, this value means in terms of copies. Okay, this is in terms of days. So you notice that from part A, B has printed, right? Yeah, how many books did photocopier B? Yep. So this is B. So by right, A, number of copies for A in terms of a number of copies of books should be 880 times 3, which is 2,640. However, in part A, you can see that actual, which is part A's answer, is 1 unit, which is 880 plus 2,660. So it's actually 880 plus 2,660. So we have to figure out 2,660 plus 880, and the actual number that is printed is 3,540. So we also notice that there's a difference over here, and the difference is due to this difference in the number of copies. So the difference is because of this 75 more copies. So we also see that 3,540 minus 2,640 is equal to 900. And this 900 divided by 75 copies in a day, we will be able to count the number of days over here. Therefore, this number of days actually speaks for number of days for A, right? Because we have been talking about A's copies and the actual number of copies that A has printed. So A, this 12 would mean the number of days that photocopier A has been working. So the very last step to find out the number of days that photocopier B was on would be to take 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So actually photocopier B has only been used for 4 days. So this is the complete solution for part B.